Okay. Good evening. Today we discuss something about this HVAC planning, which is very important for any hospital to provide good quality care and reduce the various kind of hospital acquired infections. What is the actually means of this HVAC? That is the heating, ventilation, air conditioning system. Okay, so all these components they provide, they create or they help in creating such environment where the infections proneness is going to be reduced. There is very less chance of infection, and same time it also helps in the recovery of the patient if the correct temperature, correct ventilation, and correct lighting, everything that affects on the recovery of the patient also. That's all. Nowadays we are enforcing कि whenever we make the hospital, there may be some provision of the natural light, there may be some provision of the natural air also. So all these things they are ultimately they are helping in the patient recovery as well as, and the other system, air conditioning and the other system, they help in the reduction of this infection by various kind of approach, which I will discuss in the later part of this class. So these are some certain criteria which has been decided by the various agencies, and one of the important agencies, the NABH also. Ki what are the temperature, what is the relative humidity, what is the air changes per hour needed, filtration requirement, and the pressure. It is again very important thing. So if we talk about this operation theater, normal temperature which is suggested that is 20 to 24 degrees centigrade, and in case of orthopedic surgeries, this temperature is required to be slightly on the lower side for just setting of the cement and all that, which are being utilized in the orthopedic surgeries. Okay. Relative humidity that is supposed to 50 to 60%, and air change that is on the higher side, that is 20 to 25 air changes per hour. And filtration requirement, it's always better we use is HEPA filtered H13 or the 14. And OT में pressure is required to be positive pressure. Why it is needed positive pressure? So that the infection could not be travel from the outside to the OT. As per the physics, always the things are traveled from the higher pressure to the lower pressure area. That is why in OT maximally it is being created कि positive pressure ensured कि positive pressure should be there. If we talk about the ICUs, that is the medical ICUs, surgical ICUs, and the even the SNCUs and the NICU and all that, temperature to be maintained 20 to 26 degrees centigrade. Relative humidity on the slightly lower side, that is 40 to 60%. And air change is not required of so much, which is as mentioned in the for the operation theater. That is 12 to 15 air change per hour. And HEPA filter, HEPA 13 is always better. And again, the pressure is supposed to be positive. Now we talk about this isolation ward. This temperature is 20 to 26%, and the humidity is 40 to 50%, 12 air changes. HEPA is again S13, and the pressure is negative. Why pressure is negative? Because in the isolation ward, there are the patient who are contagious in nature, but they are infectious. Okay, so whatever they are breathing out and all that, if that infection get mixed into the external air, the whole hospital or the nearby adjacent rooms or building, they may get infected. That's why negative pressure is required. Negative means अंदर नेगेटिव है तो ऑफ कोर्स कोई भी जो इन्फेक्शन हो रहा होगा that cannot be traveled outside in the area, जो positive pressure होगा. So in the isolation ward we need this negative pressure, and in general for the TB patient or for any kind of, even during the COVID also, we need such kind of negative pressure rooms and the wards. And then we talk about this general ward, that is 24 to 26, 56, 50 to 60 relative humidity is there. Air change maybe six air changes. And MERV is one word which I will explain you in the later slide. That is 13 to 14, and pressure may be neutral. Mostly positive pressure is there, but maximum it doesn't need any kind of negative and positive kind of things. Laboratories also 20 to 24, 40 to 50%. and 10 to 12 air changes, MERV 14 and negative. Pharmacy 20 to 24%. Humidity, it is supposed to be less than 50, and temperature is on the also lower side, yeah, as in we keep in the OTO, operation theater, to make the drugs potency intact and all that kind of things. And 15 air changes, HEPA filter is also there, and the positive pressure is required. Radiology temperature is 20 to 22, 40 to 50% humidity, 8 air exchanges, MERV 13 and the neutral. Corridors in the common area that temperature may be 24 to 26. 4 air changes is more than sufficient because most of the area may be the open area. And again, the pressure, if we talk about the pressure, that is supposed to be neutral kind of thing. So, as such, in general, if we talk about the HVAC planning, there is a positive pressure which prevents contaminated air from entering. As I told you, OTA and ICU, negative pressure. This is just summarization of that. Negative pressure, it prevents contaminated air from escaping outside. Isolation wards and labs. Labs में it is required? क्योंकि लैब में there is a culture of the bacteria and all that kind of thing. So बड़ी labs होती हैं, जेनेटिक लैब्स हैं, आरटीपीसीआर टाइप वाली जो लैब्स होती हैं, वहां पे नेगेटिव प्रेशर इज एक्चुअली नीडेड सो दैट एनी टाइम एनी काइंड ऑफ bacteria that doesn't mix into the that thing. Okay. And what is the HEPA filters that is required in the critical area, the OT, ICU, and the isolation? And 99.7% more point 3 micron size वाले इनको ये filter करके निकाल देता है. That is very important thing. And MERV, which I told you, that is the minimum efficiency reporting value. It is a kind of value, and the 13 plus is considered as a good for the clinical area. It is a rating kind of thing from 1 to 20 that measures how effectively an air filter can capture and remove the particles from the air as it passes through the system. So, as I told you, this is 1 to 20, so 1 to 4, that is basic filtration. 5 to 8 is standard residential use, which we are using in the house and all. 9 to 12, that is the better filtration from the homes. Nowadays, or in the various foreign countries, we use such kind of filters, and high efficiency used 13 to 16 used in the hospital superior, all that kind of things. Okay. And it is very good for the smoke prevention and the bacteria and virus ke liye 13 16 is a good. And 17 20, that is the HEPA level filtration used in the clean rooms and the lab. So that is the basically understanding of this MERV. And now we talk about the design consideration, which kind of design we want to fix in our hospital, considering the cost and all that. Okay. So if we see the cost centralized HVAC, that is, if we install this plan for this centralized HVAC system, it is going to be very high initial cost. Or decentralized, if we are using the split ACs and all that, then it is the lower upfront cost. Initial cost may be less. Energy efficient, जो HVAC है, that is good for the large hospital. If for the small hospital, this HVAC is a very costly affair. HVAC system is very costly affair. Centralized HVAC system is very costly affair. वहाँ पे decentralized ACs and all that, they work well. Main- Maintenance part for the centralized AC HVAC system, you require a very trained staff. And for the decentralized and the split and the VRF kind of mode, you need very easier maintenance. Okay. Flexibility, limited zoning, and split and VRF condition, better zone wise control. You can do the control zone wise. Means if you want to use the temperature in a particular area, you can reduce that or increase that. So what may be the recommendation for any kind of hospital? That is ideally hybrid system is good for that. Normally we use the centralized AHUs, air handling units for the critical zones, OT and ICU and the labs. And बाकी area के लिए for general wards and admin areas, we can utilize this BRFs and the focal central unit kind of thing. जो एक लिमिटेड एरिया में काम करते हैं विथ बेटर कंट्रोल विथ लेस मेंटेनेंस. So that is the thing, one thing. And there are two words which I used in this last slide. That is, one is the BRF and one is the FCUs. So it is, as a hospital administrator, you must understand what is that. BRF means verified refrigerant fold, and the FCU means fan coil unit. Refrigerant use direct, yes, direct expansion. No, it use water or the refrigerant for cooling. Okay. Zoning, excellent. Individual control, matlab you can control the temperature room wise. And FCU में जो fan coil unit होती है, there is a limited control. Energy efficiency ki if you talk about that, BRF system is a highly high energy efficient inverter driven, but this FCU kind of thing, they need more energy, depends on the water system. Installation cost is very higher in the case of the BRF system, and it is low in the fan coil unit. It is the cost is low. And maintenance part, again, it is slightly complicated in the BRF system, but it is simpler in this fan coil unit. And BRF is good for the large buildings, offices, and the luxury homes. And this fan coil unit is good for the hotels, apartment, and the small zone kind of thing. So whenever you visit as a hospital administrator, if you visit any hospital, just try to observe which kind of system hospital is has adopted. And when you see all these things in the practically, then you can better understand difference between this FCU and the BRF system. Whatever I have explained here, it is just for making you understand some basic idea of this system. And my personal suggestion is that you always um, uh, you can always you should always visit some hospital to understand all this system. Okay. Now we talk about this budget understanding. This is again point of inclusion of this budget and all that. Just you have as a hospital administrator, when you are involved in some kind of planning and all that, it is a part of engineer or something like that. Okay, but being in a hospital administration, you should have some kind of fair idea about that, so that you can suggest something, you can take participate in any kind of infection for building such kind of system in the hospital. That's why I included this slide. If we talk about this system, there are few things. The central chiller plant is there, which costs approx 1.52 crore. That is variable. That is just giving you one idea. Or air handling units, if you need 10 numbers or 8 numbers, that is 50 to 70 lakhs. VRF system for the ward on admin, that is 80 lakhs to 1.2 crore. Actually, this requirement has been calculated for the 200 bedded kind of hospital. Okay, तो ये उसके बेस के ऊपर है. HEPA filtration, that is 20 to 30 lakhs for OT and the ICU. Ducting and the insulation, as you see in the hospital, different kind of AC vents and all that are being made. So they cost that 40 to 60 lakhs, depending upon the. I am talking about the 200 bed hospital, but if hospital size is big, then of course the cost factor may be also increased. Or if hospital is uh, less than 200 beds or the smaller hospital, cost may be reduced also. Control and the BMS, that cost 30 to 50 lakhs. So if you see total estimated cost approx 4.5 to 6 crore or the 7 crore for the 200 bedded. But it also depends upon the location and the other factor. Climate also. Okay, if you are going to establish any kind of hospital in the Gujarat area or in the any kind of desert area, so you can understand the requirement of all these components are going to be enhanced and the cost may also increase. But if you establish such kind of hospital in some hilly area, or you can say good climate condition where there is no very hot summer or the very chilled winter, तो वहाँ पे requirement of these equipments are on the lower side and the cost factor may be also on the lower side. So that is also thing. Plus where the hospital is located, for maintenance of all these parts, you need a a qualified person, you need a qualified team to manage all these kind of things. So if your hospital is located in any such area where this expertise power is not there, expertise human resource power is not there, then of course we have to spend a lot of money on maintenance part of this. So before planning or before opting or before deciding for the system, if this system is good for you, you have to think upon, you have to consider all these factors: locations, availability of the expertise, human resource, availability of the various spare parts for all these system. ऐसा ना हो कि if something goes wrong or something break down, then it takes 1 month, 2 month kind of things to get it repaired. तो ये सारे factor as an hospital administrator, you have to think upon when you are going to decide which kind of system your hospital is going to adopt for this heating, ventilation, and the air conditioning system. Okay. If we talk about the time, this is also one just basic idea as an hospital administration. We take 2 3 months for design and the approval, load calculation, duct layout, compliance check in the hospital. Then procurement, roughly that is 1 to 2 months, depending upon again the market. This is just a normal tentative times for the 200 bed, just for understanding. And installation part that may take 4 to 6 months, and commissioning can be done in the 1 month. So you take, if you calculate all these total all these months, then it takes approx see six approx 1 year kind of thing, or 8 to 10 months. You can say within 8 to 10 months or 12 months, you can establish this system. So based upon this rough calculation of the time and all, you can start planning when you have to start the procurement or the designing part of this HVAC system. The purpose of this HVAC system is only that. Okay. Then one more part is I want to cover in this start in this chapter. That is the biomedical and the IT infrastructure. That is also an important part whenever you are planning the hospital. Okay, as you are very well aware, and you are very much in knowledge. Now the what is the importance of the technology and all that. And presently, we are talking about the various other higher technologies, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and all that. So, since beginning, we have to think upon that which kind of technology we are going to use in the hospital. There are various hospitals which are also called as the digital kind of hospital. The digital hospital ka planning may be something different. In the last part of this planning and management, I may discuss about this digital hospital separately. What are the planning for the digital hospital? Okay. For any kind of robust biomedical and the IT infrastructure, why it is very much important? Because seamless patient care, electronic health record is there. Nowadays, if you see this telemedicine concept is very much mm, in practice or very much in demand. It is also part of the technology. Then medical equipment integration, that is also again a good thing, where all the medical equipment, they are integrated, X-ray machines, ultrasound machines, reporting, and all that kind of thing. They are supposed to be well integrated. So that is why these are the very critical kind of area. Operational efficiency. These biomedical and the IT infrastructure give you liberty of this automation, tracking system, and data security also. So that is why these are to understand this biomedical IT infrastructure is very important. Regulatory compliance. There are a lot of regulatory compliance. They are already existing, and various regulatory compliance they are evolving also in the India. The HIPAA-like standards, NABS, they have also given some kind of guidelines. CDSCO, they also issue time to time guideline for this biomedical and the IT infrastructure. Then future scalability means you have to think upon that. As I told you, the time is of this artificial intelligence. Now, most of the hospital in the big hospital in the big cities, the many of them they are utilizing the Internet of Things, means the various equipment which runs on the equipment, and particularly the tracking devices or the monitoring devices. They are the Internet of Things. They are working on the Internet. AI diagnostic, artificial intelligence diagnostic, that is very important. It may help doctors in identifying the disease or the any kind of problem, but always believe me, ki human touch or human skill is very much required. That cannot be ignored. Means organic intelligence, artificial intelligence, it never ever can defeat the organic intelligence. So we have to sensibly we have to utilize this artificial intelligence for our work. We cannot be depend 100% on this uh, artificial intelligence. With then cloud integration means if data is generated in by hospital, it can be traveled to the some other part with the proper kind of security key and all that. It doesn't mean anybody can see that data. There is a blockchain kind of system, and if you assign a particular person, he has some key kind of thing, and then he can open. If I generate any kind of information at the Delhi, and the person who is sitting at the Bangalore with that proper kind of key and all that things, he can open that particular data about any patient and he can see the things. So that is a blockchain concept is also there. All these the new development which make this biomedical and the IT infrastructure planning, it is supposed to be very sensible, very robust system. So that it can cater the present requirement also. And in future, if there is any change in the technology or there is some kind of enhancements and the development in the technology, that can also be incorporated in the existing system. Whenever you are planning something like that, you must ensure that kind of scalability, future scalability, and the expansion capability should be present in the system. Otherwise, over a period, the your technology is going to be become obsolete, and you have to again spend so much of money on the technology. So that is very important. Critical part is that. Okay, these are the few things which are which are being utilized in the biomedical and the IT infrastructure kind of setup. We need some kind of core network, high speed backbone. That is talking about this internet speed and all that. Then we need some wireless kind of things so that all the areas they can be covered. So it is not physically everywhere you keep the modem sitting and all that. So we have to depend upon this Wi-Fi kind of system. There are a lot of technologies. I have just mentioned that to make you understand. And if you are more interested, you can just do a lot of things. I am not presently. I don't say you just do the Google. You do anything. You can do the seminar. You can utilize the Grok. You can utilize the anything. There are a lot of large language LLM models are available in the market where you can see a very good and the latest information about all these kind of technologies, how they are working. So I'm not going to elaborate all these things in a very detail. And network security, that NABH compliant firewall and all these kind of systems are there. Redundancy, reduce करने के लिए dual ISPs and UPS backed network is required, and separate लोकल इंटरनेट इज रिक्वायर्ड. मतलब एक आपके पास एक सिस्टम है जहाँ पे इंटरनेट आ रहा है, तो फॉर वेरियस डिवाइसेस यू कैन यूटिलाइज दिस VLN and you can also utilize the Wi-Fi and the admin part. As you see in the hotel, when you go and stay in some hotel, after some time or initially you will you have some password or some username may be provided to you access the local Wi-Fi network of the hotel or something like that. So that kind of system is also supposed to be there. Tele ICUs and the PACs. Tele ICUs now the after this COVID and all, a lot of thrust is given on the telemedicine, all that kind of things. So that is the tele ICU. Even the monitoring of the ICU is being done remotely by specific or the qualified and the specialist doctor. They are sitting at one place, and all the patient who are in the ICU, they are being remotely monitored by them. There are all the parameters, all the system. They are being monitored by the doctors, and in the real time, they advise if there is any fluctuation in the BP or pulse rate of any patient who is lying in the ICU. In the real time, they can advise to the staff what the corrective measures are supposed to be taken in normal condition. If condition is something like that, if physical presence of doctor or something is very much required, we should always prepare for that. And this PAC system is that picture archiving cloud system. Means we are doing the X-ray at one place, and these X-ray films are being transferred distally to the other place, and after 4 5 hours, the all the X-rays are being reported by radiologist who is sitting at some different area. So these all technologies actually they reduce the need of the human resource, and same time they also optimize the capability or the specialties or the specialist opinion of the constrained source. All these branches, radiologists and all that, they're very less in number, so they are sitting just one place, and you can imagine how they can do the help for the remote areas and the hilly areas where there are no radiologists. But if there is some provision for transferring this images through the PACS picture archiving systems, then it is very important to report the X-rays and all that things in a very less time. So that is the importance of this biomedical and the IT infrastructure. And later on, we can talk about this electronic health record. What is this important of this electronic health record? That is also the part of this biomedical and the infrastructure. EHR platform है requirement HL7, FHI, FHIR compliant, interoperability, DICOM, PACS, that is the picture archiving system. Means आपका जो MRI की मशीन है, CT की मशीन है, X-ray की मशीन है, they are connected with the remote areas. LIMS, billing, cloud also on the prem, also hybrid model, critical data on the prem, patient reported outcome measures and all that kind of thing. ओके एंड ये जो सारे आपको इसके अंदर जो टेक्निकल टर्म्स मिल रहे हैं देखने को, यू कैन जस्ट सर्च इट ऑन द जेमनी एंड यू कैन गेट द enough information about that. Because at this place, there is no need to go into much detail about these terms. This is only for just make you aware that these kind of technologies are in the market and they're working. Disaster recovery, that you have to ensure कि sometimes there may be the whole system is collapse or something like that. तो वो आपको देखना है कि कैसे उसको आपको मेंटेन करना है. एंड दिस HL7 जो है हेल्थ लेवल 7, दिस यू मस्ट रीड क्या है. FHIR फास्ट हेल्थ केयर इंटरऑपरेबिलिटी रिसोर्स, इट इज आल्सो इंटरेस्टिंग थिंग. बार कोडिंग एंड द RFID रेडियो frequency identification device, that is also now many hospital, big hospitals, they are utilizing for the patient ID matching and all that, so that less kind of error can be minimized in the hospital. Okay, voice to text, that is very important for the integration for the doctor notes, and it is one of the very good thing. Where else in a hospital, if you start this electronic health record, most of the time doctors are reluctant to type on the computer and all that. So, but if that kind of software, that kind of system is there already, that kind of system is there, and they can easily translate or they can easily convert the voice to text message. Okay, so that is a very good and important kind of helping tool in the hospital scenario. So today I will stop at this point. I just finished this biomedical and the IT infrastructure. And in the later section of the part of the hospital planning, I will take some important areas in some detail ki how we plan for the ICUs, how we plan for the OT, and how we can plan for this ward, lab, and all that. The few areas I am going to discuss in the detail in the coming part of this lecture. Okay, thank you to all of you. In case, as I suggest you, please go through the resources which are available on the open access. If you are interested to know the things in detail and you want to make your concept more clear and the more meaningful for your day-to-day professional life, so please search on it, and also take the reference from the various research site where you can get some authentic data about all these so all these resources. Okay, thank you and a good night to all of you. Thank you.